Hi, I'm here with Marta Wojciechowska from Fiberhost. Marta, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Fiberhost are an open access network provider. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit more about the importance of open access.
Yes, we are operating in Poland, and actually we are one of the first open access networks in Poland. Actually, we've been on the market for over 30 years, but we at first we were commercializing as an integrated operator, so we were more focusing on the retail business. But when we going deeper into the fiber optic networks, we saw a lot of opportunities, and we decided to base our strategy on it. So what we did is we decided that the open networks, building one network and letting all the operators that are interested in it, is not only the most effective way of providing the services and getting the returns from this business model, but it's also the most sustainable way of developing. So yes, this is a very good business model for us, because as we see, it's very good for the market because it enhances competition. It's very good for the service providers, so the direct clients of us, because they can reach more subscribers, because they can use not only their own network, they don't need to invest in their own network, but they can use our open network. And it's also good for the end subscribers, to the clients, because they have the freedom of choice of different service providers. So looking at it from this perspective, open networks, open access networks are really very good for the market.
And in this case, and in Fiberhost's case, that's clearly true in terms of the rate of growth and the way you've been expanding over the last few years, and now sort of operating across half of Poland, but still with rapid expansion plans to do more. So maybe it'd be nice to talk a little bit about that growth that's planned, but also considering where we are, anything that you think should be done from a regulatory perspective to help that growth?
Yes, indeed, our growth is amazing. So in 2018, we were starting with 600,000 HPs in the range of our network. And this year, we will end with 1.3 million HPs in our range. And indeed, the expansion that we are planning is huge. So by 2026, we are planning to have 2 million HPs. And this is our network is hugely deployed in the rural areas. So the areas that were previously digitally excluded. So this is those are huge investments, because those are difficult areas, and it's important to get with the fast and reliable internet to those places. And as I said, this concept of open access networks, it's quite a new phenomenon on the market. And unfortunately, the regulatory aspects are not yet shaped, especially on Polish market. And this is something that can hinder our business model. So, well, I'm a lawyer, so I'm in general in favor of regulations, because not only because this gives me a lot of job, but I think that in our business, stability and predictability is crucial for in the long term. So this is why we need to work on regulations. Because, for example, what can I tell you? It starts with the definition of the wholesale-only operator. The definition that is introduced in the European law and then transposed into Polish law is such that in Poland there are no wholesale operator. So we are treated as an integrated operator. And for example, what does that mean? In establishing our prices, we need to focus on the prices of one of our clients, which is just doesn't make sense and comes to absurd situation. But also, the regulators are using for us the old measures, regulatory measures aimed at the companies that were trying to keep the monopoly. So, for example, this is the situation with the unlimited access to passive network, to cable and ducts. For our business, it could lead to unprofitability because, when we are planning our network to use it to the maximum limit. And when someone just takes our ducts or cables, it may limit that. And also they could use our cable and ducts to overbuild the network. So, without a proper shape of the regulatory framework, it will be really possible to develop the market.
Okay, thank you for explaining that. So clearly a few things to resolve in order to help support the rest of that growth. One thing you have been successful at is securing money from the European Union to help that roll out in rural areas. But what are some of the other challenges when you start to get out beyond the urban areas?
Mm-hmm. Yes, actually, as Fiberhost, we are the biggest beneficiary of EU funds in Poland. So the deployment of the network on the so-called white spots and on these rural areas is huge, and also the level of the subventions is huge because it's up to 80% per HP. So it seems a lot, but in general, with the rural areas, with the areas that were digitally excluded, it's difficult to get the demand. So what we see that it's important to educate the people why the fast and reliable internet is needed in a house. So this is what we are aiming right now, just to make a social campaign and to show the people how it is useful to have this fast and reliable internet in their houses.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got some clear asks, some clear messages about how to support continued growth in Poland. Are events like the FTTH Council Europe important in enabling you to talk to people and to get people to understand some of the challenges that you face?
Of course, the events like FTTH conference are a great possibility for us to discuss different challenges, because even though Europe is different, we have still the same challenges. So it's important that we have the common platform, the platform on which we can speak about the challenges, to cooperate, and also to share our best practices and so on. So I think that this is not our first time on this conference, and each year there are a lot of important meetings, important talks that then influence our strategy.
Okay, well, great. I'm hopeful it's a good conference for you, and I'm really appreciative that you managed to take some time to come and talk to us today. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure, so thank you for having me here.